Hi there. I want to talk to you about thinking long term and preparing for what life will look like down the road. Do you ever think about how much income you're going to need when you're ready to slow down, to stop working, to just live a more relaxed lifestyle? You know, the kind where you wake up in the morning and you're not really sure what you're doing for the day, but you can slide out of bed and put your slippers on and go grab your cup of coffee, and I don't know, maybe you still get a newspaper and you read the newspaper, but you just have this kind of free spirit of, what do I want to do today? How's the weather going to be? Should I go do this? Do I want to go do that? And you just have complete flexibility in how you manage your day and your life. So I think about that from time to time because my life is a little more fast paced. Well, it's a lot more fast paced than that. And I don't really get a lot of opportunity to say, I think I just want to go do this right now. I'm pretty much governed by the work that I'm doing and the people that need me. And I love that, but someday I know I'm going to want to slow down. And one of the things I really enjoy is figuring out strategies that can maximize the operating funds that I will have later in life so that I am able to make decisions like traveling around the world, going out to eat whenever I want to, doing things with friends and family, just being able to enjoy life and not feel constrained by financial worries. So that's something that I do think quite a bit about. Now, I bought my first home when I was 19 years old, and I have been buying and selling real estate ever since. I spent over a decade in the financial services industry, and then I went into real estate full-time professionally. And with all of that, I really became acclimated with a lot of investing strategy, and many of which involve diversifying your portfolio with real estate and different ways to do that. So there's a lot of different ways to diversify with real estate. I think sometimes for people, they think it's too expensive. I'm not going to invest in real estate because it's too expensive or it's too risky. And while I can see that viewpoint, I would say to you, if you are one of those people, there's many ways, there's many different structures to this where you can mitigate the risk and you can mitigate a lot of the expense. This year, I'm really focused on helping first-time home buyers to get into homes affordably and economically, and there's many programs out there today. I can't tell you what'll be out there tomorrow or in next month or next year, but right now there's money available. It's set aside to help first-time home buyers, so buying a home doesn't have to be cost prohibitive. And that's an awesome thing. When I was 19, I did not have a lot of money in the bank, and I was able to buy my first home, and it was at a time when Josh and I were starting our lives together. We were getting ready to welcome our son into the world, and having our very own roof over our heads was so important to us, and we made that happen. And that really got me excited and passionate about helping people with whatever phase they are in as far as real estate and their security in their home to achieve those goals. So I want to talk to you today about an investment strategy, and I want to make sure we're also talking about the options with the first-time home buyer incentives and things like that as well. So there's a couple different facets to this. So in the end of this discussion, I will tell you how you can create tax-free income through investing in real estate. I want to give you some background on ways to structure that as you're building up to needing that income, and then just some food for thought on what you may be trying to accomplish with some of these strategies. So I'm getting ready to start doing this myself. It's something that I have had in the back of my mind for a while, and Josh and I have talked about having rental properties. We haven't started that yet. We've done some investing, short-term investing in real estate where we're buying and renovating and reselling the homes, and that's been great. But now I feel like it's time to start working on that rental portfolio. So one of the things that's gotten me ready to do that is a loan program called DSCR loans. That's debt service coverage ratio loans. And what I like about these loans, for my particular situation, I'm not trying to create additional income. I don't really need to create a lot of additional income, or any for that matter in most cases. And so I don't need the income from the rentals. What I want is the asset, because I know what I can do with the asset later on in life. So with the debt service coverage ratio loans, I can purchase the property not based upon my own debt to income ratio, but based upon what the property can produce from an income standpoint. So since the loan is intended for rental property, the appraiser will go out and they will appraise the property based upon the amount of rental income that can be expected per year from that property. If that rental income will cover the cost of the loan, and sometimes I would expect it'll cover more than the cost of the loan, but if it will at least cover the amount of loan cost that I will have, then that home will be approved for the program, and I can purchase that home. There are down payments involved, and so my strategy will be to do a fix and flip, and then take the profits from that to use for my closing costs and down payments, so that it is a fully inclusive program that generates the income that's needed to make the purchases, and then will pay for the expense of the home until such time that I decide to use the asset for my retirement. Now you may be thinking, okay, use the asset, so you're going to go ahead and sell it. We see a lot of people really leveraging these rental properties when the market goes up, like we've just seen such a nice run in value, and investors have been able to sell rentals and really put a lot of extra income in their pockets. The problem with that is that can be taxed very heavily, and you've now taken an asset that can continue to have value and grow in value, and you've depleted that asset, you've taken it off the books. So in my case, what I want to do is at the point in time when I'm ready to use the asset, the loan will be paid off. So I'm looking to have enough income either through the rental or to supplement the payment so that the loan can be paid off. In my case, within 15 years would be my target. And then at that point in time, it would be early retirement for me. I can refinance that property, and that money that I get from the refinance becomes income, goes into my bank. I can draw from it as I need to, and I have income then from the asset. So it really creates leverage that's not taxable income because it's the refinance of you're taking equity out of something that you own, right? And so I'm just using that and then paying that loan back through the rental income. So it's really a neat way of creating tax-free income in retirement, where there's a lot of limitations to how you can build tax-free income. Roth IRAs are a great vehicle, but they're limited by income and they're limited in the amount that you can invest each year. So you may not be able to achieve your tax-free income goals through a Roth IRA. All of this, of course, is subject to tax law, and tax law changes down the road. So we don't know what it's going to be in 10, 15 years, but I'm going to base my strategies on what I know today, and then we'll pivot if we need to. But certainly having these assets will not be a negative. So this is a really neat strategy. I think if you haven't been thinking about this, it's something that I would encourage you to consider maybe as part of your investing. If you got any questions on it, please let me know. And then my final piece, I want to talk just really quick back to my goal of helping first-time homebuyers this year. There is a lot of misnomer as to who is a first-time homebuyer. Of course, on surface, it means you haven't owned a home, right? Wrong. A first-time homebuyer can be anyone who hasn't owned a home in the last 3 years. So if you owned a home in the past, but you've gone 3 years, maybe you've been moving around and you've just been in rental properties and now you're ready to settle down in one place again, you qualify as a first-time homebuyer. If you are a veteran, all veterans qualify as first-time homebuyers by default. Also, if you have owned an investment property, but you have not lived in that home as your primary residence, you can qualify as a first-time homebuyer. So there's a lot of different qualifications that come into play with, and the significance, you might be saying, well, what's the significance of being a first-time homebuyer? Well, there's money set aside that you can have access to, down payment assistance programs that can make owning your next home more affordable. So don't feel like you don't have the funds in the bank that you can leverage to buy a house. If you're looking to buy a house today, you can do that. Now, this is separate from the investing strategy in the sense of you're not buying a rental property with down payment assistance funds, right? Because it's a residence. But I want to throw that out there as well, because there are so many ways of building wealth through real estate, and I just don't want anyone to feel like they don't have access to that. The final piece is there are federally designated areas all over the state, all over the country, but I have information on the state of Florida, right, where you can have access to down payment assistance programs and not qualify at all as a first-time homebuyer. You don't have to fit any of those criteria, but because you're buying in a federally designated area, you can have access to those down payment assistance funds. So if you're curious how this might impact you, please do not hesitate to call me. I'd love to talk investment strategy, love to talk about how to get you into your first home, or just help with down payments, funds, if that's something that's beneficial to you. And if that's something that you know someone who needs that, please. This is kind of the really sweet spot of being in this profession and being able to bring higher level knowledge to people and help them achieve goals that they might not think are achievable. So consider me your resource. Myself and anyone on my team would be available and happy to help you out. And you can reach me at 352-476-3303. You can reach my team at 352-794-1426. And we're with eXp Realty. We're the RES Luxury Group, and we bring you white glove service and red carpet treatment because your satisfaction is our guarantee. Have a great day.